think where, actually, it's so nice how the universe works. This is the place where actually Mushina has a voice,
Right.
It feels like, wow, really the God, the world, whatever, prepared me for all this time to actually, the pieces come together and now I have a place to be myself again. Every time I did a song, Mushina, this is Mushina. And I did not know what to do with Mushina.
Right. Welcome back to Conscious CoCreators Live. I'm the host, Shani, joined here with my co-host, Uma.
Welcome, welcome, everyone. Today we have an honor and pleasure to have a special guest with us, one of the leaders of Portuguese ecstatic dance scene, a visionary musician and a phenomenal artist, Mushina. Welcome.
Yoo-hoo.
Hey, welcome, brother.
Thanks for having me here, my friends.
Yes.
I'm happy for this.
So good to have you here with us. I believe that your work is bringing people together to create this incredible ecstatic community here in Portugal and all around the world. So it's a pleasure to have you and see a little bit about where Mushina comes from, what's the vision. What is this ecstatic dance?
It's a phenomenon.
Yes, it's amazing. And maybe you're not aware of this, but a lot of people are connecting through your ecstatic dances and creating things off of it. This Conscious CoCreators was actually created after one of your ecstatic dances.
It's amazing,
Yes.
We put the seeds and to see how it flourishes all around. It's amazing to witness. And I think that's the reasons, one of the reasons that we love, that we call this a phenomenon, because of that. It gives so much to everyone of the community, to everyone that is part of this somehow. It's amazing.
Yeah, wow. And we'd like to start with understanding who is Mushina, this journey that you've taken from the DJ of playing music in the past to then going down this conscious and ecstatic dance route. So, yeah, if you want to share a little bit about that journey for you.
Do you wanna do the full story?
No, just the interesting part.
Everything is pretty interesting.
Then go for it.
Yeah, we're here.
So, let's start from the beginning. I think it makes more sense because first I was always into music. I would listen to music and I would totally engage naturally. I would play games like Wipeout game, and I remember that at this time, back in the 90s, early 90s, it was the first time that games had such a nice soundtrack. And this Wipeout game had some songs that were really into dance, like with a lot of groovy vibes. And I remember that I even exported the songs to a cassette so I could still vibing. And so every time I had a chance to connect with music, I also always felt really attracted to it. So, and then MTV and all of that stuff came, so I had the chance to also see artists that really inspired me. So I was using this as a role model for me when I was growing as a kid. Everything is so amazing, and so we see and we get inspired. And every time I would see these artists, I would always see myself. Oh yeah, that's me. I could see me embodying that artistic side. Naturally, it was just who I am, So, and then my brother, I have an older brother, and he's 4 years older than me. So it was important for me in my life to have this brother because he was also always giving me access to everything that was happening 4 years ahead of my time. So I was not really spending much time with my friends. They were too young in a way. We were having good time together, but I was enjoying what my brother was doing. So I was spending more time with my brother and my brother friends. So at some point, my brother was starting to get related with the psychedelic dance scene in Portugal in the 90s. And that's when one day my brother took me to one of these raves, and it was a psychedelic trance celebration. And I remember to get there, and it was so amazing because it was the first time I saw black lights. You know, you have black lights, and then you have all these psychedelic patterns flashing with the luminous colors, and it was amazing. And wow, what is this? And I was really drawn to the movement, to this hippie movement, hippie society. So this was my first connection with this scene, let's say, what was happening. So, my brother was connected with the organizers. The organizer was giving us access to the artists that were playing in these events. And by me being around with my brother, with the organizers, with the artists, give me green access to spend more time with them. And becoming friends with them, and having access to music, because at that time it's not like this. No Spotify, the music was not even released in CDs, especially this kind of music that at this point it was really alternative music. It was not published. It was very hard to find these beats. There was not so many people making music at this time. So for me to learn how to make music, to have access to have this music, to be able to DJ, it was really important to have direct connection with these artists. And, I started to go to these events like when I was 12 years old. I started really young. But, the good thing is, the fact that I started really young, I knew that I could not take drugs because, I'm too young for taking drugs, and I always understand that.
Right.
And this gave me the sober sense of enjoying parties. I never actually needed a drug. I was there for the music, vibing all around with my brothers. Yeah. Even if I see what people were doing, experimenting the psychedelics and so on, I knew that my thing was to be here, to dance, because it was a privilege for me to be able to do this. I remember that, I was asking, it was my first event, even though I was going with my brother. My father didn't want me to go. I was too young. I understand, I was just 12 years old.
12?
Yeah, but, I insisted so much.
Right.
I knew, I knew, and my brother was already going, and he was bringing home those psychedelic flyers with all these Shivas and stuff like that. I was, wow, that's amazing. I want to be part of this. And I was already in the school, always bringing my radio and putting the best music, and everyone was vibing around me in the school, like when I was really young, like 12, 13 years old and so on. I was skating around, and I always bring my radio with the best cassettes, best music. And somehow this is also being a DJ. Even though, we're already creating the circle, we're already vibing around, everyone would gather around us. We were the guys who would do skating, and we would freestyle skate, and we have all the boys and girls are around vibing with us, because I would bring the music that nobody had access to. So I was already creating a scene back then, with no purpose. I was just vibing. I was just happy to be myself and happy to share the vibe, and that's how it started. And then one thing that happened, and because I was having access to the backstage and access to be able to speak with the artists, but at this time I was so young, I did not know how to speak English, and that was a huge frustration for me, because I wanted to speak, I wanted to ask questions, and all I could say, it was, my name is, and I was not happy about it. I was very frustrated. So I moved to London when I was really young.
Right.
My father allowed me to go to live in London alone, and this was very important for me, such a really young age.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, he had a friend in London. The friend hosted me, so he helped me to pay the bills there and so on. So I spent 2 years in London school, mainly because I just wanted to be an artist, and that was amazing. And I just wanted to learn how to speak the language so I could actually get in touch with the people, because communication is important, So this is what I did, and it was based on this dream that I had, because I knew since very early age that I would be an artist for life. I never had any doubts about it. I always had, I know what I want and I'm going to do it. Yes. So I never wanted to be an astronaut or anything else, I knew it since the beginning. This is what I needed to do.
Yes.
So I went to school. Also, it was in London that I learned I started how to make music. I learned how to work with music production programs, at this time they were very different than nowadays, but that's when I started to be more geek about it, to be more nerd about it. And then, since I had this access, and the connection with the organizers, I could show myself, and they really liked the music I was playing, the way I was playing. I learned everything by myself. I just spent hours and hours and hours practicing. I really wanted to play in a certain way, and I had my vision how the music should be out there. My way of mixing. So I was spending hours and hours playing. And because I was friends in a way, I knew the organizers. At some point, I learned how to speak English. These guys started to give me the chance to play in big events. So I started to be a professional DJ since very young age.
So how old were you when you moved to London?
14.
14, so it was around the same time. And your vision was always, I'm going to be an artist no matter what. You had that clear.
Yeah, very clear. I remember, I didn't know anything about spirituality, power of manifestation or anything. But when I was in London, I was living with a family that was not related with me at all. I was sacrificing, I left girlfriends, I left friends, I left everything behind to really be able to find my place in this. I needed to sacrifice many things. And I remembered I was in this shitty room. Not was so shitty, but it was not like my house. I needed to leave away my comfort zone. So I was living with this family. The guy was a bit crazy. The guy was a football maniac, and every time Benfica did not win, he would get crazy in the house. I would need to wash dishes every night. I needed to support the family in exchange for me being able to live with them. And the school I went was a fucking crazy school. It was a school just for guys, and just men in the school. I needed to use a suit, so I needed to, really be able to.
Well, yeah, and if you didn't speak the language as well, like you're learning the language as you're there, and kids at school, when someone new comes in, it can be challenging as well for you.
Bro, this school was crazy. First day I got to the school, it was just a men's school, felt like a prison. Only man energy. And the first day I was there, the guy was trying to put a fork inside other guy's eyes. There was fights all
so
around.
We understand that the journey to Mushina wasn't so easy.
No, not at all.
It took a lot of commitment.
Right. Yeah, it took a lot of commitment, not easy at all. So the guys were always fighting. So I was there alone, and I said, wow, I'm going to be quiet. Luckily, my father, when I was like 10 years old, he put me in Taekwondo. So apart from the music side, I was practicing Taekwondo all the time, and I was going to championships and doing a lot of things. So somehow I grew a bit when I was a teenager. That's why I went. That's why I went so early, 12, 13, 14. I was in these psychedelic raves because I was bigger than the usual guys. I was stronger and bigger, and I was always doing something. So when I went to school, and I saw the school was fucking crazy, and people were fighting all the time. I stayed like, I was not so open. I was not speaking with everyone. I kept I kept to be that person that nobody knows what's behind that guy, you know. I would put my bad guy face, you know, because these guys, there was a lot of gangsters in the school, and they would come and test me like it was in the prison, and then they would come and like do the thing, like try to see, but I was really strong and tight, you know, and I would fight back, and I would look at them with my crazy eyes, and so what happened was my first friend was from Argentina, because I couldn't speak English, so I needed to speak Spanish, and this guy from Argentina showed me around, and this guy was very nerds, and you know, when I grew up, you know, I was doing good with the bad guys in a way, skater guys, the guys who play football, because I was very gymnastic vibe, so I was pretty well accepted. But my other side, and the side that I loved a lot, I was spending a lot of time with the nerds.
Okay.
You know, so I always had these two sides, because I would do the things I like with the nerds. I mean, like things related to learning, to experiments, to know how to create stuff, to the people that had the knowledge, and I would just go wild with the people that, you know, the bad guys and go sports and extreme stuff. So I always were together in both worlds. And in London, I stayed with the nerds most of the time. So in a way, I was kind of a guy who protected the nerdy vibes there. I remember that I was with my friends there, and they would help me, and we would do exchange. And this was my first team. It was the guys that were more into nerds, playing piano, making music, and all of that stuff. Okay. So they helped me a lot how to learn English.
Wow.
After all, this is the reason we are even talking.
That's amazing.
We are even talking about this. So amazing. I learned how to speak English, and this was the most important thing for me, you know. And then I was always going to Camden Town, to Portobello Road. I was visiting London, all the places. I was trying to introduce myself, and I would come to these places, to the place that sells CDs and clothes and books. I would spend a lot of time there. I became friends with everyone, and then I met one guy that was the owner of this shop, that he was organizer of amazing events, festivals around the world. So he became my godfather there. You know, I left my brother, I left all the people that my brother, the organizers and the artists in Portugal. I went to London, and I needed to make new friends, you know, because I was again alone, and I was learning English, but I needed to find connections so I can start getting in touch with the events, the celebrations, you know. So I met this guy, a Greek guy called Pan Papason, you know, and he became my friend. He was like 20 years older than me, or 30 years, you know, he was an older guy, but he helped me a lot, because he was organizing events with Ethnicanet. So he was organizing Celebra Brazil, South Africa, events in England, all over the world. He was having these amazing festivals of the style of music I was playing that time. So, you know, he helped me a lot, because I started to work on his shop. So I started every day I went, my school was like from 7 a.m. to 3. And after this, I would go and work on this CD store. And I was selling CDs all the time. And the fact I knew the CDs so well, I knew every song, I knew every artist, every customer that would come, I would know exactly what they want. Hey, bro, what's up? So I created connections with that. So I knew exactly what they wanted. So I was selling a lot of CDs. And they were not even paying me. They would pay me with music. New CDs. So my CD case was like expanding by the day, you know. So this was my exchange. And Pan Papason was very important, because he was also the one that believed in me and put me playing with the big guys. You know, before I even came back to Portugal, you know, so in
London?
Yeah, in London. Okay. So by the time I came back to Portugal, I kind of had my portfolio. Look at me, I already play with these big guys. Yeah. So even though I came back to the people that I knew already, my brother, I already did my work. So I was already even more accepted, I would say. Right. So I started to play professionally while I was still finishing the school and so on.
This is when you're like 14 or 15 or
This was 14, 15, 16, and then I came back to Portugal, and I was already playing every weekend big events, you know, with the big guys and making music, but I was still finishing the school.
Wow.
Okay, so now the next question is how from these big events and big people and everything like growing and growing and growing in fame, you decided to like turn around and say like, okay, now I'm going to organize ecstatic dance events for 100 people.
Come on, this is far away. I'm still so far away from that, because this was back in 2003, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I only started to create stuff in ecstatic dance in 2019. So we have
Okay.
a big gap of stuff that happened with me that I'm not
Okay.
even talking about it.
Okay.
So I'm, when I started and when my brother took me to the scene, the scene was really like the ecstatic dance we have today. It was peace,
psychedelic scene.
love, unity, and respect. There was no
Right.
phones. There was no distraction. So I actually grew in this movement. The
Right.
scene was like this. The scene was very similar to the ecstatic
Yeah.
dance. We did not have the guidelines. It was not a
course.
dance ritual. It was DJs play all night long. But the vibe, people danced,
Yeah.
people connected, people were having fun. So this is how I grew up. This is what I really enjoyed about the scene. This is also the reason why I wanted to become a DJ. But the thing is, the scene started to be really popular. And
Right.
started to attract more people to come. And here, there was no guidelines protecting the scene from drugs. And the drugs started to be really heavy. At the beginning, people would be more gentle, taking a little bit of this and that. They would have fun. It was about openness, love, connection. But then the drugs and the drug dealers started to see an opportunity to make business. And so they started to bring more and more drugs, and the drugs started to be different, to be stronger, and cocaine and ketamine and a bunch of crazy shit
Changes
started
the
to come,
vibe as well.
and the vibe changed.
Yeah.
From like rainbow cool, people
Right.
started to be fucked up all the time. Like they would look messy, ugly, no teeth. I remember one thing that I always had like tons of respect by not taking drugs. I used to see beautiful girls coming into the scene, and I was like, wow, such a princess, wow, amazing girl. And then these people were not careful about taking drugs. 2 years later, I would see this girl, no teeth, fucked up, and I was like, oh my God, how can this be possible? This girl was amazing. And I see, the fact that I started so early, I seen cycles and cycles of people getting fucked up. I don't want to use this language so much, but they were really getting bad, and and I was so
Losing-
sad, bro.
That's sad. And I feel like one of the key things of the ecstatic dances and going to your ecstatic dance is you create an atmosphere for people to unlock that within themselves. And for you were able to do it from a young age because that was just what you were used to. You were used to not taking anything and just unlocking it within yourself. So why do you feel like people are drawn to like the drugs and the scenes, and they can't like dance without it? Like,
Because they were not seeing this as a ritual. There were no one there holding space and letting people know that it's possible to have fun without anything. People would come, sound is there was no one talking. There was not the opportunity for anyone to talk, for anyone to explain what's this about, what is possible to do with the body, what is this kind of active meditation, how can we spend consciousness, how can we get high just through the dance and connection. Nobody was talking about this before.
Right.
They thought the way to get there was really by taking drugs. That's why they were doing it, and I understand that. It was okay, but it started to be really ugly, and that's when I started. Also, I felt like, no, I'm not in the right place anymore.
Okay.
I'm playing in these amazing events, big sound systems, a lot of people, but look at them. I don't see myself in this anymore.
So you just
So
stopped resonating
I
with your audience.
I start to be really sad. For the first time, I was not depressed on anything, but I was really sad, and I was not enjoying to play. For the first time, I was like, "Fuck, man! I worked so much to get it into this point, to have some recognitions that allowed me to play in these amazing events.
Right.
But now I don't feel in tune with the people I play. You know,
Right.
and this was making me really sad. I was like gray, you know, like thinking about what to do. That's when, in 2010, I stopped playing psytrance, and I said, fuck this shit. I don't care anything about this shit, man. This is done. And I started a new project. And I felt like, you know, the thing is, the psytrance, and I was playing psytrance, and I was also getting not happy about playing the same style of music all the time. It's the beginning till the end, all night long. And that, you know, I was still very young at that time, you know, and I wanted to experiment. I wanted to create new beats. I wanted to and every time I wanted to play something different in the psytrance, people wouldn't take it because it was not supposed to. You know, we are in the psytrance rave and needs to be like this. So once I was invited to play in my hometown in Sesimbra, in a castle, for a lot of people, and they were expecting me to play what I was playing, but I decided to do something different. So I invited some friends, you know, and I decided to create a new thing. So I created a band in that day. You know, and
of course you did.
Yes. So I invited the guy to play guitar. I invited the guy to sing like an MC. I invited the guy to play drums, and I invited the guy to play keyboards.
Okay.
And I would do the production and the music the same way I was doing before, but instead of psytrance, now we're gonna play a combination of drum and bass, dubstep, and electro house and electro all together.
Wow.
You know, and this is when I started really to experiment with the wave.
Yeah.
That now we can call it the wave in ecstatic dance, the way we start slow, allowing the body to warm up, you know, and so on. And then we get to the point of really energetic music. And so this is when I started to create waves without the intention of anything related to the ecstatic. It was just a possibility for people to enjoy different style of music and don't annoy people with the same style all the time, you know.
Right. Yeah. No,
and these bands, you know, I started logotypes. I was really strong on it, you know. I was really dedicated on it, and we started and we played with masks, and we called this ninja core. You know, it was related with my life of being a ninja all life long, practicing stuff like that. And, you know, the life brought me here. And I brought all my friends that were musicians to be part of the band. And the band, since the day one, was really successful. You know, and I was so happy because since that first gig, we started to be invited to play in amazing festivals. And I started to be invited to play in mainstream festivals. Like I played in Ótimos Alive, Mel Sudoeste, just to name some of the Portuguese events that are really huge and mainstream. Right. So I started to play in these events. And actually for me was good. Because before, you know, when it comes to my parents, you know, they were seeing me playing all in raves and stuff like that. And I always felt that they were not taking me serious. They just thought that I'm just a crazy dude, you know, playing in these crazy events.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But when I started Ninjacore, I was also started to be invited for interviews in the TV and more mainstream stuff. And I started to have bigger caches. My fee grew a lot. So I had more possibilities to be more independent and to follow my dreams in the way I wanted. So this was actually when I created this Ninja Core, was the best thing I did in my life. It saved my life. You know, especially when I was going deep, not enjoying the people, you know, like not finding the lights, you know, like I was like, oh my God, where I'm going with this, you know, after so many years of dedication. So when I decided, you know, sometimes we need to renew ourselves, you know, erase the past, you know, follow your intuition. You know, it was hard for me, but let's do it, you know. In this situation with Ninja Core, I had also the strength of my friends. You know, it was like a one-day experiment. Guys, let's do like this. But it really worked. Okay. And then we got it from there. And then I started to do collaborations, playing in amazing events. And I did 10 years of Ninja Core, playing around the world, amazing venues, amazing festivals. I released albums. Japan edition. We were very known in Japan. I would go to Japan. I would have like 100 people on Tower Records waiting for us to sign CDs and sign T-shirts. And I would go like Fnac, you see, in Portugal, and I would have like big stands of CDs and stuff of Ninja Core and stuff like that. So I was able to touch a bit what is to be kind of a little bit recognized, you know, like...
Right.
And especially in Japan, you know, they go crazy. They think you are like Brad Pitt, you know, like, you know, they really go crazy on you, like, they scream, they kind of faint and stuff like that. Oh my God, what is happening here? I'm not even used to this. Calm. So it was like this, but it was fun for me because I could taste it a little bit. What is to be there? So I'm telling you this because this was really important for me to be able to have a totally different approach to the ecstatic dance. I needed to really feel a certain level of confidence.
Yes.
And I needed to feel that I've done something that I am more relaxed now, so I don't need to prove so much anymore.
Yeah.
Because
of course, we feel that in the ecstatic experience. An ecstatic experience with Mushina feels very unique to an ecstatic dance. It's like it's an experience, it's a journey, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and I during these 10 years I did Ninja Core, I was able to do most of the things I wanted to. I was always related to all kinds of expressions, artistic expressions, photo, movies, videos, illustrations. I even created comic books. Lots of merchandise, lots of T-shirts. Even one of my tattoos is also related with the merchandise I was doing for Ninja Core. So I was always working with illustrators and creators. So everything I did around me, I always had a big team, and we can call it community or circle. It's not because I wanted to create communities, just because I was into creating a lot of beautiful stuff, and I invite people to come and to create with me.
Well, music is amazing to connect people, and I think looking back at your story that you've just shared here, one thing that I hear over and over again is the sacrifice that you've had to take and the steps that have taken you to actually manifest this. So I'm wondering, was there any a point in your life where you felt a doubt that it was going to happen for you, maybe before this whole thing with people in Japan, or did you ever go through the doubt, self-doubt, and what did you do to overcome that and really truly believe in yourself and your vision?
I was actually following that. Then I started to talk about so many other things, but back in the room when I was 14 years old in London, this was the most sensitive time, because I had nothing at that time. I needed to go and to try to reach out to everything, and following that, I did not know about anything about manifestation. I remember to get my phone, like a little Nokia, and I was in my bed, and one day I wrote, one day I will be there on the top. Really kid, one day I will be there. In somehow this was my power of manifestation, because it was so honest. I just was, because I needed to be resilient, with the circumstances. The guy I was living in the house with, he wanted me to be a lawyer, and he was a very well-connected guy. He wanted me to introduce me to many people with power, so I could go to the right school and I could do the right thing. But I was very honest, bro. I just want to be an artist. This is my path, and I became very independent. So that's why he was not enjoying so much that I already knew what I wanted so much. So after this was the most sensitive time for me. But after this, I did not add any time that I even thought about quitting. It was not just a possibility at all. I never see this as a possibility. I've never seen this as a plan B.
Yeah, it seems like you have this natural ability to see yourself in a long-term vision, and instead of quitting, you are capable of realigning. And that's what you said before about changing from psytrance scene to more Ninja Core project, and later again realignment towards holistic communities and ecstatic dance. So
and I want to get there. I'm going to explain you why this is quite magical even for me, because the first project, let's say, I see this as a 3 parts. Actually it was 10 years of one project before Ninja Core, and then 10 more years of Ninja Core, and then I started 10 more years of Mushina, and I'm on the year 4 of Mushina now. Okay. But the funny thing about this is, the 10 years I did with Ninja Car, they were really they were consistent and solid. So I created a lot of things. I have a lot of albums. I have a lot of videos on YouTube. I did video clips. The level of investment, the amount of people I worked with, it was a lot of people. You know, I had booking agents. I was working with agencies and so on. So it was not just me. I had a lot around me. So by the time I wanted to do something else, it was way harder for me to stop doing Ninja Car, you know, because somehow you became a slave of the projects that you create.
Yeah, you are a leader of a project that wants to have a life. And then when the leader changed the mind, what's next to the project?
And exactly. So, you know, so I'm going to explain to you. So I started in this kind of spiritual movement. The psychedelic back then was pretty spiritual, you know, even though it was psytrance in a way, we were very connected with chill out. Psytrance, Goa trance is very connected with India. The songs were about Sanskrits and so on. So this vibe, this Kirtanian vibe was already there. So this is how I grew up. So this is where I felt that it's where my true essence is. You know, and it was nice for me to experiment in the mainstream world with the drum and bass and a dubstep and so on. But, you know, I never stopped going to places where I could connect myself with the spiritual world. I was doing the mainstream as a work. I was enjoying, I was experimenting myself. I was allowing myself to get to know people and different adventures. But my heart was always in the spiritual world. So I was keep on going to Boom Festival, which I go since I'm 14 years old, and I never missed a year. I grew up with it, you know. I grew up with the festival itself. I'm kind of a son of the festival, and I'm saying this because, you know, based on your question, you know, where I would find so much energy to not quit, to really believe in the vision. It's because every time I was going to the Boom Festival, I would find my people. You know, I don't know where they live. I have no idea where these people come from. You know, suddenly we are like 15,000 amazing people here. You know, I don't know where they come from, but they are alive. They exist. So whatever I do with my music, whatever do with the things I want, I will always have an audience if I do it well. The people that I love, the people that eventually can enjoy my music, can come to my celebrations, they alive, they are here, look at this. So I always felt blessed. You know, every time I was going to these events, they gave me the courage I needed to keep going. So that's why Boom for me was sacred. You know, I would always go there no matter what I was doing. If I was on tour around the world, Boom, nothing happens. Me, go to Boom. You know, you know, like it was sacred. And then I, of course, I continued to do other spirituals practices. That's why I kept kind of doing the 5 rhythms here and there, a little bit of ecstatic here and there, you know. But at this time, in the evolution, it was not so good. It was just some crazy active meditation, like Osho meditation. It was not the way it is now, you know. So I was not so involved with the scene. I was just using it as a practice. I was aware that it exists.
Yeah, that's interesting. So when did you see that evolution from this Osho type active meditation to what it is now in this ecstatic world?
Yes. So around 2019, I started to go more into the ecstatic dance. I started to allow myself, because I was not enjoying the events I was playing with Ninja Car. I would see them as work, as concerts. I would big stages, distance from the crowds, you know, like I would see a bunch of heads, and I would feel disconnected with the experience, you know. So even though I was having a hard time finding places where I could have fun, because I was always into the dance. I'm dancing every time at home. Every day I dance. I wake up, take a shower. I have loudspeakers everywhere. Every day I dance. I'm a dancer. This is what is in
we
me.
see you when you're playing the DJ. You're also like dancing as well with everybody as well.
Yeah. So this is me. I need this. So I started to go to ecstatic dance, not with the intention to become an ecstatic dance DJ. I just wanted to have fun. I was already an artist. I had my job, let's say. I was happy with it. I started to go more and more to the ecstatic, and that's when I started to see the evolution of the ecstatic and the kind of music that now people bring to the ecstatic. So I was seeing that artists like Mose, but I met Mose randomly. I went to a celebration and I met Mose. And at this time, I was not even looking up to Mose, for example. He was just a random guy that I met that happens to be an artist in the scene.
Right.
So I was also an artist in the scene, So in the different scenes, so you get this guy. So we met and we became friends back in 2019.
Right.
Before I even decided to start to be doing any kind of music for this movement.
That's interesting because you said at the start when you were with your brother, you were like connecting with these artists since you were a young age. So maybe this like kind of networking and connecting with other people came naturally from learning it from such a young age for you.
Totally. Yeah. So, I met him the same day I met Shanax, Pasha, I met Jay Poole. They were all there in this event in Portugal. It was amazing. And it was so nice to get to know them because now they are my colleagues in the scene. They are the people I play after I started the ecstatic dance scene. To be part of it. Now they are the artists that I'm spending more time with but at this time they were all strangers to me, and I met them and it was nice to have conversation with them, and then I started to follow more the music that they were doing, the more organic stuff. But I have something to share actually. During the 10 years I did Ninja Core, I was doing a more aggressive style of music, more synthesizing, dubstep, more noising, which is, in a way, I was doing this music because I knew this music would work in big stages and would allow me to keep blasting, and I liked the energy.
Right.
But I was feeling that this music is too dirty. So just for my own pleasure, back since 2013, I'm doing a side project. Just for my own, I did not intend to release this music. It was I was just spending time mostly with a friend of mine that works with me, organizing like Sacred Soul and so on, which is Carlos. We would just spend time in the studio, do the things we love. Wow, let's try this, let's do that. And the sound, the style, it was very shamanic, very organic. So even before I started to listen to the artists that are actually doing the music for the ecstatic dance, I was on my own, just following my heart, doing these side projects for a long time. And I did not know what to do with this side project. And I was actually calling these side projects, the folders, every time I did something, Mushina.
Here we go to the genesis.
Yeah. Mushina. Mushina. Every time I did a song, Mushina. This is Mushina. And I did not know what to do with Mushina.
Right.
That was purely channeled.
Exactly. I was just enjoying the music, but it was against my business. I was even thinking sometimes I would show to friends and they did not know where I put this. Was chilling, was spiritual, was dub, was organic. So it was not related at all with what I was doing. But when I started to go deeper into the ecstatic dance and I met these people and I started to really do ecstatic dance almost every week, I started to think actually, it's so nice how the universe works. This is the place where actually Mushina has a voice,
Right.
So I feels like, wow, really the God, the world, whatever, prepared me for all this time to actually, the pieces come together and now I have a place to be myself again.
Wow, such a beautiful and
Yes,
inspiring
you know,
story.
Wow.
But I was a slave of my own projects. I was having gigs all the time. You know, I was working with people. People were kind of dependent on me. I was, let's say, the leader of the project. You know,
Right.
I was working with a booking agency. You know, always you have a booking here, you have a booking there. You know, so I was kind of feeling trapped when it comes to space to really dedicate maximum to the new project, which I wanted. And I was really feeling really confused because
That's really interesting because I think a lot of people can relate to that when we have like a normal life job and a soul work calling. So like
totally, you know, exactly.
we want to know.
This is what happens. You know, we want to start a new project, but somehow we don't have the flexibility to move on because we are trapped in a situation. So I was feeling like that, even though it was amazing project that I created with myself. I was actually feeling trapped on it. You know, it was not like I was working on a corporation or anything like that. It was still, so, you know, I was feeling confused at this time. And you know what really helped me? I had a friend and he invited me for ayahuasca ceremony. And I knew, I was feeling the call to connect with the plant. And I was actually wanted to you know, plant, please help me, tell me something, you know, let me know what you think about this.
Right. What are we doing?
You know, I have this feeling, you know, I would like to understand what I'm doing, because, you know, I was having so many projects before. I was known as Mixtech, I was known as a Ninja Core, I was known in different ways, and I just wanted to be known as one character.
Okay.
I just want to embody.
Integrated.
Yeah, exactly. I was feeling all over the place.
Yeah.
And I did not want to have more than one Instagram page. You know, I don't want anything. You know, I just want to be recognized by one solo person, or whatever we call it.
Yeah, like a soul-aligned mission.
Yeah, and this was kind of what I brought to the ceremony. And actually, you know, when I was connected with the plant and I was deep, you know, it was an amazing ceremony. I was feeling divine experiences all over, you know, like it was so deep, you know, I was able to connect so deep with myself, so deep with my memories, so deep with everything. But the plant itself did not say anything special about what should I do or not. Do you know what the plant say? You can do anything. And it was just like that. You know what?
Right.
Don't even bother me with these you know, things that we can touch, you know, these
Right.
you know, how can I say, you know, things that are not in the spiritual codes. Don't even mess, because don't even bother me with material stuff. This is all material. New project, old project, whatever cause you want to do. Are you even worried about this? Don't even bother me with that. And I was like, wow, you're right. I can do anything. And I'm not gonna even bother you. Yeah, so, you know, so after this ceremony, I felt really confident.
Right.
You know, but I still needed to deal with the fact that I needed to find a way not to do the other project and move on. But you know what happened? COVID happened. In the exact moment I was about and feeling the strength to release Mushina,
Yeah.
COVID happened, and suddenly I did not have any other shows that I was doing anyway.
All right.
Perfect alignment.
You know, nothing, it was possible. So because I was kind of dependent on the money that I was doing, I'm a full-time artist, you know, I need to play so I can pay my bills and so on. So, you know, I was so dependent on it, and then there was nothing there. You know, it was the perfect excuse in a way for, okay, now I cannot do this, I'm going to do something else.
So you were probably one of the very few people in the universe who were actually celebrating COVID and being like, oh, thanks, epidemic. Now I can actually focus on my work, my real work.
It helped me. You know, it was not so nice because I needed to find my ways to manage, you know, because I was not having shows.
But of course you did, as you are the person of a vision. So you already had the vision of your end goal. So of course the way was there, I
But
guess.
you know, it was perfect because nobody was even organizing any ecstatic dances anyway. That's when we came in, because I cannot stop.
Right.
What I'm gonna do, especially because I was already I decided to release Mushina, and I just created a new album, and I was releasing my album when the COVID came. Everything was happening at the same time. I could not just stop. So we started to organize private celebrations the way we did, So that's how we actually found we were a space where community could come together. My intention was with the ecstatic dance. Now, finally, going to answer your question and how the ecstatic dance started and all of that. My intention was just to share the music I was doing and to have a specially moment of celebration where people could totally liberate themselves and feel the power of this amazing experience. My intention was not to create the community and everything. Everything's happened naturally. And that was the good thing about it. In the beginning, I was not even speaking with the people. That was not my intention. My intention was to come, to play the music and so on. If there is a facilitator and stuff like that, they would speak for me. But I started to see that every time I did not speak, the experience and the people did not feel the same way. That's why, I never wanted to speak. I was forced to speak in order for the experience to be powerful. People needed to know what it's really happening in this ritual. So that's why I started to speak more and to allow myself, I found ecstatic dance, but in a way ecstatic dance also found me, and I needed to go away out of my comfort zone and to start becoming a real facilitator of this experience and not just the artist I was before.
And that's amazing, because bringing it back to the start of the story, you said one of your biggest insecurities when you were younger was not being able to speak English to the people you wanted to. And then you went to a journey to learn, and you had to go through all the struggles to learn, and now you went on stage for the Ninja Corps, and it was kind of disconnected, and you've been put in a situation where you have to actually speak to increase the experience for everyone and allow everyone to have a great time. So it's like a full circle experience then. That was at the end of the journey for you.
Feels like everything was planned to be like this, I had spirit guides, really strong spirit guides, and they were putting me in the right places, even though I did not understand the purpose why they were putting me going through that. But it felt like they were kind of preparing me to what is happening now, which I feel more aligned than ever. I'm so happy to be doing what I'm doing now. And it felt like I needed to go through other things before, so I can be fully present, delivering what it's happening now.
Yeah, so the things I hear very, very strongly that come through is the vision, the commitment, the realignment, and at the end, listening to your inside. So what is Mushina's recipe for making your dream life come true?
Mushina, it's actually the mega cocktail of everything, everything I went through. And I was even saying that, when I was playing in these big events, I was also playing in small places where I was trying different kind of music. And then I created Ninja Corps and so on. So all of this gave me the possibility to experiment with all styles, all genres of music, which is actually what is happening in the ecstatic dance. The ecstatic dance is a place where people need to be stimulated in different ways. We need different rhythms, we need different triggers for us to be able to go deeper within our experience. Otherwise, we don't find ways to stimulate ourselves to be creative. So having different styles of music helps the people to engage with their experience better. So I believe my life gave me the experience I needed without even thinking about it, you know, to be able to now deliver the most complete ecstatic dance experience, you know. So because I was able to have the knowledge, or to acquire the knowledge that allows me to create the best journey in a way that really allows people to go the deepest possible to this ecstatic dance experience. That's why I feel it works so well. And also there is some kind of magic, because I was always a dancer, you know, and then I became a performer. So when I'm playing, I really vibe with the movement in the music, and I really try to bring out this.
There is a shamanic element to it.
You know, there are something that is kind of invisible.
Yes.
But there are somehow this powerful, contagious energy that, you know, me as a DJ, I can be good doing the electronic side of it, you know, being able to know how to touch the buttons, how to use my computer, the programs to create the music that comes out of the speaker. But me as a person, I think there is also some kind of hidden magic that just by being me, holding the space in this place, you know, allowing the sounds to go in the certain way, and the certain way I do it allows also people to go deeper in their experiences. And it's not, I think it's like when you go and you sit with certain shamans, you know, they sing the Icarus to you in a certain way, their presence, they know how to take the journey in certain ways. That makes all the difference. So I think there is this kind of magic also here happening in the ecstatic dance, and the person that is holding the space is really important. They have really an important role, and this is how I see it.
So I'm curious about your process before the ecstatic dance, when you're cultivating these experiences for people. And as you said, it can be like a shamanic experience for anybody, and you set the container very well at the start. You kind of show people, okay, anybody who's new to this space, this is what we're going to go through. And for anybody else, it's like we set the expectations of the ecstatic. So how do you prepare yourself before these kind of experiences, and what's your own process before an ecstatic?
Bro, honestly speaking, I try not to think too much about it. You know, I want to be as natural as possible. I want to be as present as possible. I want to be myself as possible. You know, I prepare, I create the music, you know, I prepare the journey as much possible for me to be able to improvise anytime I want, you know, to really resonate with which is happening with the group. But when it comes to me as a person, how I prepare myself, the way I'm going to speak, I have no idea. You know, because, you know, every time I think I'm going to say something, or I think I should talk better, or I kind of practice whatever, I just talk shit, bro. You know, it did not match. It does not match, you know,
Yeah, I feel like one thing that comes across to me, being in your experiences, is the playful element that you bring to it. It's almost, we can see the inner child coming through, and then that allows everybody else to embody that within the dance and the experience. So is that something that you feel fully connected to? Is your inner
bro,
child?
You know, this is me being myself as much possible, and I want it to be like this. And I think that's the beauty about it. You know, I show my presence. I'm there, and I'm there being part of what is happening with everyone. And so there is not, okay, I take care of myself every day, because I need to be ready for this, for whatever happens. You know, I'm traveling all the time. I need to be strong. I need to have a strong mindset. And this is like my daily basis. You know, I do this 100%. So it's not like I have a special way of preparing before the rituals, before the shows. Sometimes I close my eyes, I try to meditate a bit, just to cleanse a bit the mind with the bunch of things that we need to deal in our normal lives, you know, There is always so many messages, so many things. So sometimes I want to get rid of this. Even before I was coming to this podcast with you, I was driving fast, getting a bit late. And, I was seeing my phone, ping, 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 message and phone calls. And I felt like I don't want to deal with all of these questions or anything like this. I want to be present, with Shani and Dom as much possible and just talk about whatever is there to talk. So this is how I try to avoid too much information as much possible. So I tried sometimes to meditate a bit. If I'm overwhelmed, I can be a bit overwhelmed. If I usually am very overwhelmed after the events that we create. Because I feel that I give so much because
so
I love and we fly so high, but I hug so many people and there are so many interactions, positive interactions. I love them, but some when it finish,
you need a grounding.
Yeah, so I need to recalibrate myself a bit. That's what I think I need to do. And sometimes what I do if I'm overwhelmed. And this happens for a long time. I just go a little bit to my car alone, just to sit, to be with me a bit, in silence, and nobody is around, or and I just stay. I connect with myself, and this is how I do my cleansing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I have a question about ecstatic dance. Is it only for spiritual people?
Not at all.
There is a bridge, and there is many times this concept. Oh no, that's for spiritual people. So how is it?
I don't think it's for spiritual people at all. I think we actually should invite our non-spiritual friends to actually open themselves to experience this. This is this can be considered an spiritual practice, but you don't need to be spiritual or do the meditations weekly or read books about gurus or anything like that.
So how would you explain this ecstatic dance being a spiritual practice?
That's what I do. That's what I think people find a place in the Mushina ecstatic dances, because we are just so simple and right to the point. We just invite everyone to be part of this, and we just explain the way it is. Hey bro, hey sister, what's up? Welcome, thank you for coming. Let's do it like this. Here we take out shoes, no distractions, let's put phones away, let's try to engage with the experience as much possible. Like, keep it simple. Take your clothes off, try to engage, try to break the pattern, like the way people dance, always with the cup and the cigarette. No, put that thing away and try to be creative, explore, and then try to forget about who you are, about your status, about your work. Try to be as much possible in the present moment, so you can start listening to the music and you become one with the music. And then that's when your consciousness starts to levitate, because you start to do the practice, you start to get into this trance zone, you start to embody the music and you start to flow. At some point you even forget about everything, you create this inertia. And this is when the magic of ecstatic dance starts to vibe up.
Yeah, I think that's...
People start to embody the experience. They start to vibe, They forget, they start to express themselves. They start, they hear the songs, and then you start to get high.
The energy is rising.
You start to get high from inside. You feel happy. You look around, Many people, even in being gathering, like 5 people told me this. Like, they were getting into the ecstatic dance circle that we were creating, and they were not there before. They were not part of the initial circle. They did not heard about the guidelines, and suddenly, everyone told me this. By the time they got there, they all had goosebumps.
The collective energy.
Because the collective energy that is there, they got into the tent. Wow, what is this? And they start to having goosebumps. So there is this contagious energy that is magic. And especially, I always say this, why I'm always so grateful that people come. It's because I don't want to sell tickets. It's not about money. It's not about anything. It's about the power of the collective experience. the more we are, and the more we are really tuned into this experience, we are able to elevate the vibe to a level that people start, they get in and feel these goosebumps and so on. And this is the intention.
This is the magic that you create. And I feel like after these experiences, that's where we had this idea of connecting and creating something, because our minds were in such an elevated state after this ecstatic. And there's so many like possibilities of what's possible if more people are introduced to the ecstatic world. So I'm wondering, like, what's your idea of? I heard you want to create bigger ecstatic experiences for more people at bigger festivals. So what does that look like for you?
I want it to be truth. I don't want to suddenly go and play in a bigger event and have a bunch of disconnected people watching our ecstatic dance. I don't want it to be like this. I want, if in case we grow together, we go slowly, and we grow in the right way. I don't care about people. I don't care about numbers.
Right.
Not quantity. It's okay, we can have quantity, but it's the quality of the container that we are about to create. I can have like 3,000 people and I'm going to be happy if they are all connected truly with the experience from the soul. I don't want to have people disconnected. This is what I hated. This is what I stopped doing other projects, because people are there with the cup, like don't really know what to do. I'm not this kind of person. I don't play in clubs or bars anymore with people just having conversations and talking with the friends. I'm not that guy. My really purpose, genuinely, that came from me because I was not happy every time I was doing that. I did not feel like this was for me. So that's why, I felt like, okay, now I'm fully aligned with this. I just want this to be the better it can get in the right direction. So we're going to grow slowly. It's happening. But it's important that the people and the new facilitators and the new DJs, they actually bring the real values of the ecstatic dance. That's why I want to be protective of this. I really value the importance of this practice and this ritual.
Interesting.
So when people come up with the name ecstatic dance just because it's trending, I don't like it.
Right.
It's either you do it in the right way, you come, and you explain what is the ecstatic dance and why we are doing this, what is the benefits, and what are we able to acquire with this. Good, let's do it. If people just come, just because people don't talk and don't drink, and I feel people disconnected, and then people have a bad idea what is the ecstatic dance.
True.
And then like I see people doing ecstatic dance every Tuesdays and so on, and it becomes a name and it becomes a practice that people don't take it serious no more.
Well, it resonates with me a lot, especially when you speak about the values of the ecstatic dance, because that's what I've been personally drawn into. And I wonder if you see a future of ecstatic dance in 10 years becoming into mainstream. Do you think it's possible for people to be willing to heal collectively in a more mainstream way?
I think it's possible. I think we are going into that direction. It's going to become more mainstream. But if the place is held by people who really bring the true values and the reason why this was even created, it's going to be safe. Because usually the people that does this just because it's trending, it's a trend. They come up and they go fast.
Exactly. It's
temporary. So if we as a collective, powerful tribe, if we really hold the space the way we should, I think we protect it.
Okay, that's really interesting. So I'm going to share about the mission of Conscious CoCreators. As we are here creating this community to empower facilitators to step into service and to really create this world a better place. I would love you to share with our beautiful audience a takeaway message about like how to do it, how to make the transition You have been blessed by really having this strong vision. But what about the people who don't believe in themselves the way you do? What would you tell them?
Okay, first, I don't think I am alone in this. I'm actually together with you. You are part of my team. That's how I see it. Not a corporation team.
We are all on the same team.
Yeah, but
Right.
we are part of, for example, in the Sacred Soul Festival that we organize, I feel that it's us holding space from people from around the world that comes to experience what we have to share with them. So, I see us as a tribe already. And I see us as a tribe because we have so much to offer, every one of us. I'm just happen to be the ecstatic guy, and
Right.
I have this role of leadership because I want to make stuff happen, and I invite people to do it with me. I don't think I am the president or the guru master or anything like this. I'm just your mega bro, and this is the way.
Visionary.
Right.
Yeah, it's in a way visionary, and
Of course.
sometimes it's hard for me to call the visionary because sometimes people can see it in a bad way, and it can be like an ego boost or anything like this. But you know what? People are constantly asking me when I create the next event and stuff like that, but I never know. But sometimes suddenly I am on my own and I receive a crazy insight. And then I feel I kind of receive these visions and the names and the things and oh wow, yes, it's this.
Right.
I know what to do. So I don't know if this is what to be visionary or not, but I do receive some kind of channeling visions of what can be possible to do, and I just get whatever is possible on whatever I have access to, and I make it happen. This is how it has been working for me. I have these insightful ideas coming out of nothing. I don't even try. They just come. Sometimes
Right.
I dream about stuff and I just, wow, this is it. And then I feel, this is really good. I feel really confident about it because it felt like, this vision makes totally sense. I don't even think twice. So this is how it's been working for me. I just receive it and I just try to do it because if I don't do it, it loses its time.
That's interesting. What I get from that is you said that we're all part of this tribe, and within a tribe, we don't need 100 people who are all visionaries who are all creating the vision. It's like everyone has their role and they play their part in the tribe. So it's like more about empowering people to really step into themselves and not try to be the visionaries or try to do everything themselves. It's like, we're here to work together and create.
Yeah, exactly. That's answering also to your question. This is exactly the answer. Everyone has a powerful role in this, and when we are together, people feel they are part of it. They feel accepted. They don't feel judged anymore. They feel that they also have the power to give something to the movement itself. To give it back, we receive, and we give back.
And this is such a powerful healing.
It's so beautiful to be able to give, and sometimes sometimes we receive messages from people that they want to be collaborators somehow, even though they enjoy a lot to be experiencing the programs. What usually we have to share with the tribe, but they want to be part of it. So I feel this Buddhist sense of needing to be doing something. It's really rewarding for us, for everyone. So I think we have we have so many possibilities. And actually, I thought about this once, but I never had the time to do it. In situations like Sacred Soul, we see the power of the community because it's a big gathering. We all come together. It's people from all over the world, And I'm look around in the circle and even in Telegram group, and I see, wow, so much potential on everyone.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm so sad that I don't know deeper what these people are able to do, these friends, these brothers and sisters that I love so much. I actually would love to get to know them better.
Right.
Because I want to collaborate more with them. I want to ask more stuff. I want every next time that we have an idea, I want to know who I'm gonna call for this.
Right.
And I actually last year after the Sacred Soul, I wanted to create like a form just for us to have a database of what the tribe is actually able to. Because I receive lots of messages. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a breath work facilitator. I'm a shaman of this and that, whatever. And sometimes when I need it, because I don't know where to find it, because where is that message is being
true.
So I would like us, as a mega circle, someone actually could take the lead.
Well, it's funny you say that, because as Conscious CoCreators, we have created a global network for facilitators, and we have actually an online platform where facilitators can connect.
That's perfect, So, if we are really in touch, because when we create these celebrations, we have a chance to be together.
Yes.
And most of the time we are busy doing the practices, dancing, having fun. But we can take this to the next level, to actually we can go deeper understanding what's the real power of the community. Having a chance to get to know the people that we love so much better, what they are doing, what they want to do, what they would like to do, but they are not still doing because they are busy with the normal work. And we can also, if we help each other, we can give a chance for everyone to grow.
Exactly. And that's the big motivation behind Conscious CoCreators, because we are facing a lot of topics as facilitators and healers and, let's say, holistic practitioners that are untypical to real life of other people. And so this community is not only going to provide a classroom space and calls and webinars that are going to be educational and create space for different kind of guests to bring their insights, but it's also going to be a forum where ideally people will be really supporting each other and holding each other in special topics. So maybe there is a niche of women working with sacred feminine womb healing, and maybe they want to come together, and maybe there is a niche of working with toxic masculinity, and maybe there is a niche working with microdosing therapy, and all these people can support each other, and many times I go organize my retreat abroad, I'm having a situation that the masseuse is not showing up. Okay, I can post in the community and somebody will show up for
maybe
this.
you did not post. There is already in this form, in this database, where are my masseuses? Oh, we have Christina, we have Luisa. Hey, bro, call Luisa. Luisa's perfect. Right. She lives near Ericeira. This is what I think it's better. Not even needed to post.
Having
the
like
database is the thing. We need to know where we are, where are our people, so we can actually connect and use each other in the best way,
And I felt that as well, similar to what you said after Sacred Soul, where we created this after your ecstatic experience because we were connected already and we had ideas to create something. But I'm sure there's possibilities of so many amazing people at Sacred Soul, and who knows what's possible if the right person connected with the right person at Sacred Soul, the world could change. There's it gathers all these people together in your festival. So maybe organizing some circles similar to what they have at Boom, where it's people can kind of share and meet each other and get to know what they're working on or how they can be supported. Who knows what would be possible.
Let's find a way to do that. The thing is, when it's such a big gathering, people really prepare themselves to come to this. That's why we have a chance to be all together, because people take off some days, they have holidays or something like this. So it's easy for them to fly over and to be together on this. So they wouldn't do the same if it's just a meeting. It needs somehow to be an important meeting. We need to find a way for this to...
Yeah, I feel like the word connection actually came across your story several times. So I think the importance of connections itself is already a big reason for facilitators and space holders to come together, to network, to get to know each other, and to see where is the co-creation in it. Because the togetherness sometimes is all the inspiration that we need to actually make the magic and leave a positive footprint in this society, in this world.
It feels like we find where we belong, and that's so nurturing for everyone. You feel accepted, and this feeling is the start of anyone to start believing in themselves and start having ideas of this is possible. I can do this, because I feel the strength, I feel the support of the people I love. I feel the love back, and this is the most amazing thing that we actually feel every time we get together. We feel supported, and this is an amazing sensation. And in Portugal is where we have been doing this in the best way possible. I would say, we somehow, the way we found ourselves and the way we give and receive has been so beautiful that we reach a certain space that really resonates with everyone around.
Yeah, I fully agree that the power of the community is so crucial in the way of empowerment and really embodying the fullest potential of a person. Yeah, I'm really grateful to have encountered your tribe and becoming a part of it in a way, because there is so much inspiration behind it.
Let's keep doing this. We are together. This podcast is one way for us to give a voice to many of these people that are hidden down there. Let's bring it, and let's be together. Let's keep having amazing ideas. That's how I see it's gonna happen.
Aho.
Beautiful.
Hey.
Beautiful.
Aho.
Amazing. Aho.
Thank you for this beautiful, inspiring conversation, Mushina.
Thank you. My pleasure.
It was really nice to have you. Thank you, Shani.
Thank you.
You are amazing,
I
my
believe
friend.
we can find a lot of empowerment message here for our audience and for facilitators and people who are still on the path to embodying their fullest potential. And yeah.
Let's keep doing this,
Let's go.
talk.
Aho.
We talk soon again.